Alright, so I got the Razer Tartarus V2 sent from Hong Kong. I've been waiting for this thing for a while now. Looking forward to unboxing it. Oh, more tape. Ooh. Oh man, look at that. That is a thing of beauty. Oh, this is nice and soft. This is rubber. We've got the wheel being the most important, and 19 buttons, 20 plus all 4 of the directional. Let's get this out. It's got a braided cord, and I think that's all that's in the box. Let me see. For gamers by gamers. I'm not a gamer though. I stopped gaming a while back. One of my friends died and I didn't know it, and I found out after seeing that there was a server named after him. So that was it. So I just couldn't bring myself to play anymore, you know. But I use these all the time, especially with Photoshop and other painting programs, because it enables me to program all of my quick keys and shortcuts into the pad, and then make them all the same across all painting applications that I use, so that there's nothing to relearn. You just do it once and that's it. I have yet to try it out, but this is just an unboxing video, and I'll put a few of my old ones side by side. Alright, let's check that out. Alright, so this was my very first Nostromo. I liked it a lot. I like the software. It was pretty easy to use, pretty easy to program. Fit my hand pretty well, but you know, it's kind of big. The next one, oh by the way, I had the N52, but I lent it to somebody and they never gave it back and they moved away. But anyway, I got this one. This was the N52 Tournament Edition. Still Belkin, still Nostromo. On the back of the pad, you know, it still had the Belkin, but didn't have, well, I guess it did have Razer, but Razer was not prominent then. But anyway, the software kind of got worse with this one. But again, the main thing is the wheel. You know, gotta have the wheel. And then this one came out, and I've been using this one for years. This was the I guess this is it's still a Nostromo, but it's a Razer, has the Razer logo on the pad, and again, blue illuminated keys with the wheel, but then they got rid of the wheel, you know, and for years there was no replacement for this pad that had no wheel. Your option was to go get the Logitech, which I kind of didn't want to do because it had no wheel, but you know, was kind of ambidextrous the way you could use it. But I'm right-handed, so I need this to be for my left hand. And just on a fluke, I went to look at the new products from Razer, and lo and behold, this one came out. You've got the Tartarus V2, which, aha, the wheel has come back. Thank God, you know. It's got a nice, soft, cushy pad here. I don't know what these are, if they're like Cherry MX or what, but it's got a nice, satisfying click compared to the older ones. and I usually don't like this button. I'm going to take this off. This thing comes off, so this is exposed because I like the roundedness here, and this is nice and clicky, whereas that one feels kind of lame. That's easier to depress. This one has the most fight. But anyway, I do like it. Got all my buttons, got 5 more on top. I'm gonna hook it up and try it out. But oh, I like that. I gotta take off my watch, but so I can rub my bare wrist against the soft logo embossed padding here. Let's see if I can pull it off. Should be able to. Maybe it slides, or there's something on the bottom. Well, I'll figure it out. Usually this thing comes off. There we go. See, there are 2 pads. I usually put this in the further space so that it fits my hand better. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's more natural. Alright, I'm going to hook it up and see how it goes. Alright, this is a huge disappointment to me. I bought the Razer Tartarus Chroma V2 because I wanted to use it primarily with digital painting programs. I find it advantageous to program various keys into the buttons, macros, and whatnot, like I have with my old one here. This is the Nostromo. I want to be able to program keys and macros. Obviously, you can see these 4 down here: undo, save, copy, close, whatever. Unfortunately, some macros don't work. For example, the mouse keys, and this software that comes with the Tartarus, it just auto-downloaded. I don't know if I need to download again and update it, but it's a little funky. Notice that the screen does not extend all the way. I'm dragging a window that's partially black, and then there's like a scroll bar here. This is all dead space. Ah, damn it. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. What do you call those? Not a prank caller. What do you call those? Telemarketers. I gotta get off that. Gotta get on the do not call list. Anyway, when you have I've got function keys programmed here in my old Nostromo. Okay, so when I'm looking at a painting, I can hit those function keys. But the other, oh wow, the zoom is working. That's crazy. Ah, wait a second. It's Photoshop where the zoom's not working. So if I switch to Photoshop, let me grab Photoshop and bring it over here. Yeah, the zoom isn't working with Photoshop. This needs to be a macro, and the software for the Tartarus right now, scrolling down, scroll functions, you don't get a macro. On the click, you have a macro, but not on the mouse wheel. So zooming in and out using the Tartarus isn't quite working, and this software for the programming of the actual application itself is not quite working right. You know, I think that's something that can be quickly resolved. I'm hoping that it is. I've got rotation working within Photoshop. Let's see if that works. Photoshop's such a pain. Let me see, preferences, performance. Oh, where is it? Oh, Photoshop. You vex me so. Yeah. You know, I recently built this machine. There's no reason that Photoshop... Okay, there it goes. Finally. Jesus. Alright, performance. It's using the graphics processor. I'll just uncheck and recheck that. So that all should be right by hitting R. Only works with OpenGL and document windows. No. Let me try that again. Okay, I guess I had to close and reopen it. So that works. Tedious. But zooming does not work. Zooming does work with the old wheel on the Nostromo, but not on the Tartarus. It just scrolls. And I can't get the software to recognize the mouse function because it will not give me the option of a macro. And that would be really handy because if you were using this for video editing and you wanted to use the wheel to scrub back and forth, you can't use a macro. It can't be done, at least not yet. And there are issues with this software, how it's behaving. With the old version, it seems fine because I can click on the wheel and scrolling up and scrolling down are, wait, no, wrong app. Photoshop. Mouse wheel zooming in and zooming out are macros. And you can't go back in and look at the macros or edit them. You can only add them and change them or seemingly delete them. But this software is not really super helpful. It's kind of tedious because having to program each key, you have to pick the key and type it and then save and do that for each one. On the upside to this software, you've got all the keys laid out, so you can just click on them here and they'll light up to whatever you want to correspond with. That is convenient, but you still have to pick what it is and then change the letter and then save. Pick on something else, pick what it is, letter, save. It's still fairly tedious. But the big issue for me, and the whole reason I bought the Tartarus version 2 was because it added the wheel back, but it added the wheel without macros. So to me right now, it's kind of useless. Did the function keys work? The function keys were an issue when I first installed it. So I guess the function keys were an issue. I guess that must have been just needed to reboot after install. Yeah, so I just need Razer to fix this, the mouse function, make it a macro. I think that'll really be day and night. Oh, and just the weirdness of this interface. I think it's always, there's always been something funky about the Razer. Oh, here's the other issue. If you have an old Nostromo and you were waiting to upgrade because none of the recent Nostromos had the wheel, you have more keys here. But key 1 on the Nostromo is actually what key is that? Key 6. So instead of this being 1 through 5, it's 6 through 10. And then these new ones are actually 1 through 5. So there's no method, at least I'm aware of
of being able to export all of my profiles into this new Chroma. Maybe that'll come. I don't know. This funkiness with the interface itself, I think that ought to be resolved. I mean, that just doesn't seem very tight.
Alright, so I have the Tartarus on my my keyboard tray. I took off my watch so I can rub this gentle part of my wrist on the pad. You can see that it changes colors. Colors aren't that important to me, but it's nice and pretty. It's like a relaxing kind of thing. But the big disappointment that I've found is that it's in the software. This wheel will not accept macros, and the keys don't seem to function with function keys. I will show you this within the software, and give me a minute, but I'll explain it, because that's really, really frustrating. Granted, it says somewhere, I saw that this is beta software, so you can't expect it to be like 100%, but that is huge to not be able to put macros onto the wheel. You can put a macro onto the click of the middle mouse button. You can put a macro there. You hear that? Yeah, that will take a macro, but the wheel itself, up and down, will not. I'm confident that can be fixed. I also tried to program function keys up here, and it didn't work. So I think this device isn't quite ready. The device itself, I think, is fine. I think the software is not quite ready to be out the door yet. But I'm going to show you this on screen and see how it behaves with my painting programs. I don't know if this is going to be relevant to most of you gamers, but I use this for digital painting because I program all my keys, my brush sizes, tool changes, all here, so that I don't have to rely on the buttons on the side of the tablet, or the wheel or whatever. I like this much, much better because I can keep it consistent across all my applications. And this stays home with me while my my old one will go with my laptop. I'm happy because this one works. This one works with function keys. I have no problem with it. But what I really wanted was the extra row of keys and the wheel. And see, the wheel works. Like if I pull it up, and you can see me zooming in and out on screen with the wheel, right? The zoom is not quite working. It just scrolls. So I'll have to show that to you guys in software on screen. Okay? So there it is. As much as I like this thing and how good it feels, software is not quite up to date or up to snuff. I need to continue using this one to get my work done, and hopefully this will be resolved. Then I can retire this one and move it into my laptop bag. But until then, I got to keep going with this. Hopefully this will be taken care of. But all in all, it feels like a good product. It's really nice to touch, to feel. It's just really pleasurable to rub. I could imagine you spending hours on end playing games with this thing. Myself, I'll be digitally painting, but I want this thing to work. I want it to work really bad, and I hope that those annoying software issues with the wheel and the function keys get resolved. So that's my message to you, Razer. Macros on the scroll wheel, function keys on the keypad. All right? Thank you again for making such a nice product. I'm confident this will be taken care of. I'm hoping sooner than later. All right. Peace out. Thumbs or subs. You know how it works. Thanks again.